So today I'm going to talk to you about the benefits of teaching over in England, but also the process of getting over there and how to transition into the British national curriculum. So I'll talk about the schools, the areas that we work with, the types of work that's available, the types of visas that would allow you to work in England, and the kind of support that you'll get when you are working in the UK as a teacher through Engage and Teaching Jobs London. So why do people teach in England? There are lots of benefits. The main one is that you are assured of achieving a full-time contract as soon as you qualify. So it's wonderful to know that even though in your home country you're not in demand as a new graduate, in England you can secure a fantastic graduate position in a school. You'll be able to teach most likely a year level of preference, but also within your subject-specific areas. So a fantastic way for new teachers to kickstart their career and get straight into the profession. You're also on Europe's doorstep, so you've got the opportunity to travel a lot through the 13 weeks of school holiday through the year. It's also, a fantastic way to professionally develop. There's lots of opportunities to progress quite quickly in the British system, so you might be given extra roles and responsibilities, which will translate when you get home to being a much more attractive option to local schools. You'll also have access and knowledge of the British education system, so the national curriculum that's taught in lots of international schools all over the world. So you'll be in a position to have some experience in the UK and then potentially move to an international school in the UAE, in Asia, in Europe, in America, and continue your teaching experience overseas. So there's some of the main reasons and the benefits of teaching over in England. Not everyone is eligible to work over there, but if you're an Australian, a New Zealander, a Canadian, then you're very likely to be eligible for a Youth Mobility Scheme visa if you're under the age of 31, or you might have a parent or grandparent who's British and therefore be eligible either for a British passport or for an ancestry or right of abode. There's options for people who are married or have a partner who's long-term, who's British, and you can also look into sponsorship, which is where we would look at teachers of maths and science in shortage areas and help them to be sponsored by a school to come and work over in the UK. So there's opportunities for lots of teachers from all over the world, and we work with teachers from Canada, from Australia, from New Zealand, from Ireland, but also lots of other parts of the world if they have UK working rights. We help all of our teachers to become legally compliant to work in England. So if you are registering with us and wanting to work over in England, we will help you collect the paperwork that will make you eligible to teach in England. So things like an up-to-date CV and up-to-date references, but also copies of your qualifications, identification, so your passport and driver's license. We'll get you to fill in our registration forms, which will allow us then to do a UK crime check on your behalf. That's called a DBS. And we'll ask you to do a national crime check from your home country as well. We'll ask for your right to work, so we'll collect a copy of your visa as well, and we'll put all of that together so that you're eligible to work as a teacher over in England. The school year is different to here in Australia, but slightly more similar to that of Canada. There are 3 terms in the British school year, and the school year kicks off in early September. So the first term runs from September through to just before Christmas. There is a half-term break of a week in October as well, so no one works for more than 6 weeks without having a week off. So you start in September, you have a week off in October, then you have another 6 weeks of work and finish for 2 weeks over Christmas and New Year's. And then you start term 2, which is the spring term. It starts in early January. Lots of teachers arrive for the start of term 2 and take up a contract at that time. Again, you work for 6 weeks and have a week off in February, and then you work for another 6 weeks and have a 2-week break over Easter time. Term 3, or the summer term, runs from after Easter. You'll have a week off in May, and then you will start your 6-week holiday from around the 20th of July, dependent on the year. So the school year is a little bit different. It is something that a lot of overseas teachers like, because it gives you lots of downtime to be able to regroup and get organised for the rest of each term, and also time to travel in every season and to see a little bit of the UK and Europe and other parts of the world that are closer to England than they are from Australia or Canada. There is lots of different types of work that we can offer you. If you're interested in having your own classroom, and most teachers are, they like the idea of having a contract in their own field of specialty, knowing where they're going every day, building rapport and having a mentor. And if that's the case, then we can certainly guarantee that we can find you a contract in a school before you arrive. If you're interested in just starting on supply work, then we can guarantee you supply work every day. And if we can't find you work, we would pay you anyway, and that's called our secure guaranteed supply contract. That runs so that teachers who want a more flexible start, who may be arriving halfway through a term or are wanting to do a lot of travel during term time, can jump in and out of supply work. So you might want to do that in one of the 4 areas of London that we cover, which covers the 33 boroughs, or it might be that you want to work in a more regional office. So we have work available in all parts of England. We've got work up in the north in Leeds and Yorkshire. We've got work in the East Midlands, so regions like Peterborough and Cambridge. And we've got work in East Anglia, so places that are much more regional like Norfolk and Suffolk. There's lots of work available there as well. We cover all of London, we cover all of the home counties, so places like Kent and Essex and Surrey and Hertfordshire, and then we've got work dotted in places like Bristol and Brighton and other parts of England. So lots of opportunities to work in city schools, but also in more regional environments if you prefer that. We also fly a lot of our teachers over to interview directly with schools through our I-Day events. So if you're really keen on having your own classroom and finding the right fit, then there is a week-long experience called I-Day where we can fly you over, you can interview with lots of schools, and you can walk away at the end of the week having visited schools, had professional development, and had the chance to really interview with lots of different types of schools and pick one that feels like a really good fit. Transitional support is incredibly important. So if you're looking at heading over to the UK, you'll need some practical help with things like bank accounts, national insurance numbers, when to apply for your visa and what the process is, understanding what you need to do on arrival and getting accommodation sorted out. So we certainly offer all of those areas of help and support. We've got a closed accommodation group, we have induction days, we have lots of social events, so there's lots of ways that you can connect with other teachers and feel like you're part of the engaged community. And there's lots of transitional support in the way of professional development as well. So we have partnered with a company called Creative Education, and they are able to provide all of our teachers with 9 sessions of professional development before they arrive. You'll also have an induction day where you'll have face-to-face interaction with Creative Education head teachers and teachers like you who've come over and experienced teaching in another country. And then lots of ongoing support, PD sessions that are face-to-face, but also an online forum and portal which you can connect with Creative Education and get involved with some British accredited courses that will potentially take you to developing countries to experience teaching over there as well. So we're really proud of the professional development and the care that our teachers receive work-wise. The cost of living is quite similar to here in Australia and to Canada and New Zealand. The cost of living in central London is very high. It's a bit like living in the middle of Sydney or in Toronto or in Auckland. So if you're thinking about teaching and wanting to travel a lot during the half-term and end-of-term breaks, you might be better off living on the outskirts of London, in the fringes, in the home counties. We've got lots of work there, and we've also got the opportunity for you to live a little bit more cheaply and still be close to the city. So a lot of our teachers do that. Supermarkets probably a little bit cheaper, food generally and clothing a little bit cheaper. Travel certainly over to the continent is a lot cheaper, and then other things are a little bit more expensive. So you've just got to, I guess, abandon exchanging money all the time and working out what it is in Australian or Canadian dollars. You're paid on the British pay scale as a teacher over there. You're certainly paid enough to be able to live and to get about. But yeah, there's certain things that you can save money on if you're a little bit savvy. National curriculum is very similar in a lot of ways to the Canadian, New Zealand and Australian curriculum, so don't be too afraid of it. Primary is very clear, it's very prescriptive. There's set literacy and numeracy in the mornings. You're likely to have a teacher's aide. It's set in key stages, so key stage 1 is your reception year 1 and year 2, and then upper primary is years 3 to 6. You will find that literacy and numeracy is still the focus. There is a lot of planning and assessment, but new graduates will get someone who's their mentor in the classroom and a lot of help. In secondary, again, very similar. In their final years of schooling, they select elective subjects which they study intensely, A-levels, and in junior school they will be in key stage 3 and 4, and they'll be working through general curriculum, maths, science, English, technology, languages, religious education and the humanities. So yeah, there's work available for all types of teachers. So we work with state schools, we work with independent schools, lots of faith schools, so Catholic and Church of England schools and academies as well, and we also work with special needs schools, either in their own right or within mainstream schools. So if you're an early years teacher, a primary teacher, secondary trained or special needs trained, there is work available for you over in England. And we also can help non-qualified teachers into teacher aide positions or into highly skilled migrant instructor roles. So lots of opportunities for you to jump into the British system. So if you're interested and you want some more information, please do get in touch.